Ed Boon confirms Mortal Kombat 12 is getting revealed in 2023, and to make things even better, he also confirms Reptile and a couple other characters. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Ed Boon, being a mad lad as always, this Saturday said, "Ask me anything." I always miss these things, man. And next up we have the Sebanatic 5000 who asks, first initial of a character in the next NetherRealm game, and Ed Boon says L. That's Liu Kang, Mortal Kombat 12 confirmed, Fire God Liu Kang for Mortal Kombat 12. Or hey, it could be Li Mei. That would be kinda hype, haven't played her in a while. Could be cool if she came back. Let me know in the comments section which characters from Injustice and Mortal Kombat have a first name that starts with L. Interesting stuff. Then we have Frankista who asks, will you bring back Motaro? And Ed Boon says, stay tuned. That's interesting, because for anyone watching who's not aware, NetherRealm has gone on the record saying multiple times they can't add Motaro because it's impossible to motion capture him, because no humans are built like that. So unless they find some magical human with the bottom half like a horse, they can't do motion capture for Motaro. But hey, maybe things have changed, because Ed Boon sounds pretty confident in this reply. Maybe Motaro can return in the next Mortal Kombat game, at least as an unplayable boss character. Then we have Hateful Money who asks, will Homelander be a guest character in the next MK installment? And Ed Boon says he would fit very nicely. Boo, no, not Homelander. We want Omni-Man. Omni-Man is so much better. Nah, I'm just kidding. Either character would honestly be fantastic, and I do think that Homelander has more charisma, so the intro dialogues would be super cool. I love that actor. So if they get him to voice Homelander, then maybe he would be a better choice than Omni-Man. But as far as cool factor goes, Omni-Man's just cooler. Let me know in the comments section which guest character you want. You all know that I want Bloodrain. That's who I want the most. I want a female guest character because it's never happened. Not to mention she's also very hot, so that's reason number 2. And then we have Domino who asks, will you bring back Tanya in Mortal Kombat 12? And Ed Boon says, we can. Stay tuned. Alright, once again, I'm freaking out. People always tell me in the comment section can does not mean will, but come on, he's saying we can. Why would he say that if it's not possible? Maybe I'm just a glass half full kind of guy, but I think when somebody says we can and stay tuned, it means it's very likely Tanya is coming back, which is cool. I want to see Tanya in the best graphics possible. She's pretty. But it's not about me, okay? It's not about me. Let's get started. Carlson Nelson asks, will Batman be in Injustice 3? Kind of a silly question. And so Ed Boon gave a silly answer. Can you imagine an Injustice game without him? Yeah, Batman's gonna be in every single game. However, unfortunately, unless they were already working on the game, he's not going to be voiced by Kevin Conroy. He's going to have a different voice actor, which is sad. And I think that's why Carson Nelson was asking this question. But the simple fact is, Batman is always going to be in a DC fighting game. They're never gonna leave him out. Next up, we have Poland Riley who asks, where was Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the ending of the Aftermath story mode? To which Ed Boon responds, I'll need to check back on that. I think they were on a different boat. That's the only way it makes sense, right? They were on a different boat with Raiden, which is unfortunate because that's why Katana, Kung Lao, and Jade all got manhandled by Shao Kahn and Zendel. I think if Sub-Zero and Scorpion had been on that boat too, things would not have gone so well for the villains. And then we have Spermy who asks, would you ever consider Guts from Berserk in a future Mortal Kombat game? And Ed Boon responds by saying, I don't know who that is. No, say it ain't so, Ed Boon. You're not a manga fan? You're not an anime fan? Oh no, say it isn't so. Nah, this checks out. Ed Boon is a bit of a boomer, alright? He's from a different generation. Anime was not as big back then. And now we have I'm Tyrone in all capital letters who asks, how's the Mortal Kombat movie sequel going, OG? And Ed Boon says he's reading exciting scripts. Okay, so that's cool stuff. They're working on the script, I guess, still for Mortal Kombat 2. No acting yet? No, there's definitely been acting. We know that because the actors have said so. They've said the acting is actually very grueling. There's tons of workouts and the fight choreography is very grueling and tough, which is good to hear. Like, Mortal Kombat should have tough fight scenes. But what I find interesting is that apparently Ed Boon's not in on any of that. He just gets to read the script, so that's fascinating. Oh, but then next up we have some bad news. Chrome Shines asks, will MK versus Street Fighter ever happen? To which Ed Boon says, doubtful. Yeah, I've said this multiple times and I sound like a broken record. Mortal Kombat has to have its fatalities. Mortal Kombat versus DC made that very clear. Fans were outraged at the lack of violence and fatality options. But Capcom is simply not okay with Ryu's head being torn off by Sub-Zero. They're not okay with Chun-Li being split in half by Katana. It's simply not going to happen. And as a result, we're never going to get a Mortal Kombat cross Street Fighter unless they get rid of the really gross violent fatalities, and I don't think NetherRealm's going to do that because look what happened to Mortal Kombat versus DC. Fans were super upset that the game wasn't as violent. So yeah, Street Fighter Fighter versus Mortal Kombat is never going to happen. It's a pipe dream. But next up we have Hotep, who asks, when is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks coming to Steam? And Ed Boon says, not soon. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it kind of makes sense because porting a game does cost money, and why would they spend money on a game that not many people are going to buy? Don't get me wrong, I know Shaolin Monks is beloved by a lot of players, but the reality is most of those players already own the game and don't want to buy it twice. Which means the only people who would buy Shaolin Monks on Steam are people who've heard about the game and maybe played it once but don't own it, and that's really not very many people to buy the game. I know everyone wants to pretend that Shaolin Monks is super popular, but that's simply not the case. It's loved, it's very beloved, but it's not crazy popular. You would be shocked how many Mortal Kombat fans have never played the game, myself included, never touched it. Next up we have Mariano Andres, who asks, why was Stryker and Smoke completely gone from Mortal Kombat 11? And Ed Boon responds by saying they needed a rest. And this response is interesting because it could imply those characters come back in Mortal Kombat 12. I think Smoke has a very strong chance of returning. Stryker maybe so too, but his odds are a lot more slim. Not because he's boring or not popular, but because other characters already play like him, such as Aaron Black and Cassie Cage. And I don't think NetherRealm or Ed Boon wants to replace those characters with Stryker, so he could still return. I'm just saying his odds are a bit lower. And then we have Cody, who asks, will we ever get Armageddon 2? And Ed Boon says, not likely. Yeah, look, here's the thing. Having all the Mortal Kombat characters in a single game is really hype and very exciting. However, if you play Mortal Kombat Armageddon, you will quickly discover how similar all the characters are. Yeah, they have different stances and fighting styles, but the combo system is almost identical for every character, and they don't even have unique fatalities. Instead, they all share a creative fatality system. So I know it sounds cool to have every Mortal Kombat character in a single game. I'm with you. I agree with you 100%, but it's a lot of effort, and what you get in the end are characters who play very similar. Even though games like Smash Ultimate exist, please understand that characters in that game have way fewer attacks than Mortal Kombat characters, so it's much easier to shove them all into one game and also keep them unique and different. And next up we have Cash Up, who says, I really like gun characters, and Ed Boon says, okay, just like Saitama in One Punch Man, okay. All lowercase, hit him with the reversed caps lock. I can only speak for me, but like 2 gun characters are all we need. Okay, no more than that. I think MK11 went way overboard. There was like 10 plus characters who used guns. That's too many. I want it to be a fighting game, not Call of Duty. Wait a minute, Cash Up got 2 responses? That feels unfair. That's double dipping. But anyway, he asks, will Stryker and Cassie return? And Ed Boon says, stay tuned. Okay, this is awesome because now that I think about it, having Stryker mentor Cassie Cage would be a really interesting dynamic. Make him like a second father figure. That could be awesome. Oh, but no, what if NetherRealm does the opposite and has Cassie Cage holding Stryker's hand and he's like firing one gun and she's like, huh, one gun, old man? Watch me akimbo dual wield these pistols, boomer. Oh no, what if they do Stryker dirty like that and he's second to Cassie Cage the entire game? No, don't do it, it can't happen. And then we have X24 Begins, who asks, so if you could, would you remaster the 3D era? And Ed Boon says, I personally want to do something different. Imagine MK5, 6, and 7 in 2D. No, why would you do that? The whole point is they're the 3D era. If you brought them back, why would you make them 2D? That defeats the entire point. I mean, there is one cool thing he could do with that. Keep the stances and keep the stance combos, and it would kind of be like having all 3 variations at the same time without having to pick. You can just switch between them. That would be kind of cool. And now that I think about it, I'm a dummy because that's what inspired the variation system in MKX, wasn't it? The different stances in the 3D era. Man, I'm so stupid. Yo, but next up we have Lana Khanum with the biggest question of all. Will we know the title of the next game by the end of 2023? To which Ed Boon says, yes, so there we go. At least that much is confirmed. And before you freak out, this is somewhat good news because at least now we know we're not getting a reveal until next year. So if you're one of those people who stays awake every single night wondering, are they gonna announce the next game tomorrow? You can at least wait until January because apparently we're not getting it this year, which is a shame. But hey, you can't always get what you want. Life is full of disappointments. It's just the way it is sometimes. And in fact, as I keep scrolling, Ed Boon keeps saying that 2023 is the year they announce the next game, which I still think is going to be Mortal Kombat 12. I'm 90% positive. And now finally, to end things on a positive note, we have Pokey Cactus asking, what is the likelihood of seeing Reptile again soon? To which Ed Boon responds, good. Yes, finally some justice for Reptile. This character was my #1 most viewed video of 2022. So yeah, I respect him a lot and I hope NetherRealm does too this time around. Do not make him a jobber who loses to everybody. Do not make him currency in the crypt. And please, for the love of the Elder God, gods. Let him do something cool in story mode. In fact, give him his own chapter. He deserves it. Aftermath proved the players love to be the villains in story mode, so make it happen with Reptile, Melina, and a couple others. Alright everyone, that's about it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below about all this Mortal Kombat news from Ed Boon. And then while you're down there, smash that like button if you enjoyed, and keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.